Good morning everyone. This video is purely meant for supplementing and complementing the efforts of our students in and around Kalyan Durg regarding CSP project report making. The very intention of this community service project report is to create some sort of affinity towards research in the students. It acts as a rehearsal, it serves as a rehearsal for compiling a thesis work. So in order to improve your research orientation, this project is being implemented. Let us make it very brief because brevity is the soul of wit. In this video, let us throw light on the integral parts, integral components of a project report. What are the different pages, contents, components that are present in this project report? Let us know. Your project report should contain a cover page, and cover page should be attractive and relevant. It may contain the relevant photographs. For example, if your project report is related to the prevalence of diabetes, try to attach the photo of pancreas on the cover page. Like that cover page should be scientific, and it should be attractive, and it should be relevant. And your cover page should contain project title. That means the title of the dissertation work should be attached on the cover page. And it should also reflect the team members. That means the list of the team members should be attached on the cover page. Sometimes if the individual student has done the project, the name of that student should be included on the cover page. And it should also contain faculty mentor name and also college name. This should be the composition of the cover page. And remember, my dear students, there is no hard and fast rule regarding the blueprint of the project report. Now, let us go to the next component. Cover page should be followed by the contents. Contents are nothing but the various partitions, divisions that are present in the project report. These contents should be listed in the form of a table along with the page number. This may be titled as, this may be called as index also. And this contents page should be followed by the rest of the project report. The rest of the project report should contain objective of the project. What exactly the objective of the project? What outcome you expect from this? This objective should be followed by methodology. What are the methods you followed in community survey, in community awareness? Have you made any door-to-door approach? And which age groups are selected for your project work or thesis work? Which gender has been focused? Which animal species is selected? That means what is the selected animal? What is the selected age group? What is the selected gender? What is the selected area? And what are the different methods you have followed? Should be mentioned in the methodology. If you have used any equipment in this project, you have to mention the equipment also. And this methodology should be followed by the introduction. Introduction is nothing but the core of your project report. For example, if you are doing some sort of project on health and hygiene, you have to register or document the introductory remarks regarding health and hygiene, including definitions. You have to develop this introduction part as the heart of the project report. This is a theoretical part, of course. Next, you add community survey details. what is the data you have collected, along with the questionnaire you developed, you distributed, followed by the photos related to community survey. That means the photos pertaining to this data collection, house to house interviews can be appended, can be attached in this part of the project report. So that means after introduction, your community survey details can be reflected in the project report. Later, you can also add the photographs of your community awareness program. I told in the previous video that in the quadrant, the community awareness program comes second. That means after community survey, you have to create some sort of community awareness, and this community awareness program photos can also be appended, can also be attached, can also be posted after this community survey data. And next part is data interpretation. This is very, very crucial. Although 15 students as a group conducted a survey, the interpretation of the data may vary from student to student depending on his intellectual capabilities, depending on his experience. The same data can be interpreted in multiple ways. Same data can be interpreted in multiple ways. Here you can make the difference. You can guide the student. For example, if the data is collected, the data can be pulled up, the data can be categorized, the data can be divided into age groups, gender groups, area wise, that means urban and rural, season wise, social status wise. Like that you can interpret the data, you can categorize the data. For example, if you are dealing with the dropout rate within rural and urban areas, then you can interpret this dropout rate based on the gender. How much of dropout rate is prevalent in women students, and what is the dropout rate in men? And later that can be discussed in a different manner, of course, depending on your intelligence and perception. Your attitude makes difference while interpreting the data. Your attitude definitely decides your altitude. So here this data can be interpreted based on gender, age, social status, and also occupation. Imagine, my dear students, if you are doing research, if you are doing a project on occupational hazards, this occupation, this profession plays a crucial role in interpreting the data, because certain diseases are prevalent in some people who are engaging themselves in a particular profession. Teachers will have their own pains, tennis players will have their own pains. So if you are doing a project on this, you can interpret data based on occupation also, and area also plays a crucial role, because rural problems are unique and urban problems are unique, because the conditions change. When the conditions change, the parameters will also change. So that is the way you have to interpret the data. Don't cut, copy, paste. Try to be very creative, try to be very innovative. Every individual, every student will have his own perceptions, his own attitude, his own behavioral pattern. And research means it should be a original piece. I feel like remembering one of the comments made by my guide during my junior research fellowship. My guide commented on one thesis. Your thesis is good and original, but original part is not good and good part is not original. Don't make like this. Of course, it's only a replica of that thesis work. Now itself, try to develop that potential. Try to be creative. Try to be creative. So that is about data interpretation. And this should be followed by graphical representation. You can use line diagrams, bar diagrams, histograms. That means the moment the Viva committee happen to see the graphical representation, they should get the overall picture of your project report. They should get the overall concept of your project report. This should reflect everything, all the components, all the parameters which you have taken for the study. So you can use line diagrams, bar diagrams, histograms, like that. And ultimately the results should be tabulated. This is very important, tabulation of the result. Make a tabular column and try to insert the result depending on the parameters. This should be followed by discussions. This is again very important because the discussion part differs from student to student. Although we have made the project work as a group, discussion part should be totally different. Each and every individual should discuss the result. And based on the discussions, conclusions should be arrived. That means you have to conclude. Conclusions should be arrived based on the discussions. So for example, if I have made a project on diabetes again, because I'm convenient in that particular area, because I belong to the life science stream, I'm trying to throw light on that. If you want to arrive at some conclusions, you have to take certain parameters. For example, in the conclusions, we can make a remark. Diabetes mellitus is prevalent in the urban segment when compared to the rural segment. Diabetes mellitus is highly prevalent in the persons who are doing sedentary work rather than labor work. In the people who are engaged in agriculture field, the incidence of diabetes is less noted. Like that you can make the conclusions. You can correlate your conclusions to the result. Here you require some sort of connectivity. And at the end, try to add bibliography, references, and also the links which you have browsed. And my dear students, don't forget, my dear students, don't forget to extend your gratitude to your college and your peer and also to the faculty mentor. And all this Thanksgiving work can be done in the form of acknowledgements at the end. So thank you very much. Try to follow these guidelines. Of course, once again, I confess this is not a hard and fast blueprint. You can take minimum liberty to modify it constructively. You can also improve this version because there is no climax to the perfection, of course. And at the outset, I would like to thanks my principal, Dr. Jairam Reddy sir, for giving me sufficient inputs, sufficient feedback, and also sufficient inputs. Thank you very much.